Another task that we're going to have to do here at Edgewood Pool, or any pool for that matter, is to add sodium bicarbonate, otherwise known as baking soda. Once the levels are established, this is really something that you really only have to do every month. So monthly, or sometimes even weekly or bi-weekly, we'll test for exactly where our alkalinity level is. And if our alkalinity level is low, we're gonna take the steps that you're gonna see me do in this video. Reasons that we need to make sure that alkalinity is established is really it's a buffer system for the pool, right? It kind of buffers our pHs at just the right level, and that in conjunction with all the other chemicals that we use, it maintains the oxidizing ability of the pool. And so let's see it from start to finish, exactly how you might do this task. So like with most things, the way that we're going to know that we need to add sodium bicarb to the pool is with a chemical test. In this particular case, we're going to test for alkalinity, which I should mention is on the very back. Actually, all the tests are on the very back of this thing, assuming you can read it. Just in case you can't, I'm going to go through exactly what we're going to do. So first thing we got to do is half fill our fun little sample tester here. And all of the supplies that test for the alkalinity are kind of in all the supplies that test for alkalinity are kind of in this row right here. First thing we're going to do, as it says on the directions, is that we're going to add 2 drops of R007. So R007 should be around here somewhere. There it is. So we're going to add 2 drops of this thing. After that, you're going to see me add 5 drops of R008, which is just behind it. Right there. And then we're going to titrate the hopefully green color to red with this R009. So if that turns green, it means you have a decent amount of alkalinity. And let's see what our titration test tells us. So we're going to start to add this R009. Every drop of this is the equivalent of 10 parts per million. Really, we want the level to be at minimum 100 parts per million, so we should be able to add 10 drops of this with this thing just turning pink. But let's see what we end up with. There's 5 drops. And there we can see at 9 drops, we're just starting to turn pink. So this pool needs just a little bit of sodium bicarb. I do this test about once every week, and honestly, I really only add bicarb probably once a month, sometimes even a little less. So we'll add a little bit tonight, just because we need about 10 parts per million. So we'll go through the pool room. We'll grab our chemical closet key, and unfortunately, my light is not working, so you can't quite see it. So I'm going to reach in here and grab the bucket and show it to you in the light. Here's the sodium bicarb bucket. You'll notice that it's in a repurposed bucket here, and it says sodium bicarbonate. Probably should refresh that with a nice Sharpie. Just like we've seen a couple of times before, especially in the shocking to 10 parts per million of the chlorine video, what we're going to do is we're going to use an empty bucket that we fill with a certain amount of this sodium bicarb. I tested my alkalinity to 90 parts per million, so I'm going to be raising it by 10 parts per million. I'm going to not show this by video because, like I said, my light's not working, but I'm going to hang it from this nice scale right here, measure out exactly, in my case, 8 pounds, 7 or 8, and then you can see how I prepare it for the pool. So right over there, I've got my 8 pounds of sodium bicarb that I'm going to add. And quite honestly, I could just add this directly to the pool, mostly into the jet, or at least into this deep end over here.
I always like to dissolve things just to kind of get the process started a little quicker. So I am actually going to add some water. I'm going to stir it up, and then I'll add it mostly to the deep end of the pool over here. And that's pretty much all there is to it. The only other thing that you may want to think about is that I don't recommend adding any more than maybe like 15 to 20 pounds at a time, unless of course it's right at the beginning and the pool isn't open, just because it can screw around with a lot of your ORP values quite a bit. And it also makes the pH go much higher, so sometimes your automatic pH sensor goes a little bit crazy. If you're going to add a whole bunch of sodium bicarb, I'd probably turn off the pH control, at least until that has had a chance to kind of pup through the system for a couple of hours. But that's all there is to it. See you later.